Anelise Michelle was a devout Catholic teenager, living a normal life with her parents in Germany in the late 1960s. But then she began blacking out at school, before exhibiting increasingly strange behaviors like routinely convulsing, hallucinating, eating spiders, and even drinking her own urine. Michelle claimed to be possessed by the devil, and her parents soon came to the same conclusion. They ultimately subjected her to 67 exorcisms, none of which improved her condition, before she died of malnutrition at the age of 23 in 1976, weighing just 68 pounds. Her story was so disturbing that it eventually inspired the 2005 horror film, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. On August 6, 1945, the United States of America dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima, and for some of the approximately 80,000 people who lost their lives, only a nuclear shadow remained. When the bomb detonated at 1,900 feet above the city's center, the subsequent explosion caused temperatures of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit to annihilate nearly everything within 1,600 feet of the bomb's blast zone. Almost anything and anyone within a mile was destroyed. The bomb's light and heat were so extreme that they bleached the city's exposed surfaces, except in places where an unsuspecting person shielded the building or sidewalk or bridge from the blast with their own body in their final moments alive. Before American serial killer John Wayne Gacy was finally caught in 1978, he raped, tortured, and murdered at least 33 teenage boys and men in his Illinois home. But long before his murderous reign, during which he worked as a clown at children's birthday parties, John Wayne Gacy was just a normal boy. However, knowing what was to come after this photo was taken makes it one of the most undeniably creepy images of all time. On December 10th, 1945, William Herons left this note scrawled in lipstick on the wall of Frances Brown's Chicago apartment. Just before writing this message, Herons brutally stabbed Brown to death and left a knife sticking out of her neck. Herons became known as the Lipstick Killer and took one more victim before police finally caught him 6 months later. This photo of an unidentified boy who appears frightened and in handcuffs was discovered among photos taken by serial killer Dean Corll. To date, the boy's identity is unknown. Called the Candyman Killer because he worked at a candy factory, Corll killed an estimated 28 boys and young men between 1970 and 1973. The OMG Bombing in Northern Ireland on August 15, 1998, killed 29 people and injured more than 200 bystanders. Carried out by members of the real Irish Republican Army, it was the deadliest attack during the 3 decades-long conflict known as the Troubles, which pitted those who wanted Northern Ireland to remain unified with Great Britain against those who didn't. Arguably the most chilling photo taken during the entirety of the Troubles, this image shows a happy father and his carefree son standing next to a car in Omagh that was wired with explosives and about to blow. They both died moments later. Michael Rockefeller, the son of New York Governor and soon-to-be U.S. Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, disappeared somewhere in Papua New Guinea in the early 1960s. Seen here on his first trip there in May 1960, Rockefeller's smile belies his grim fate. It's believed he was killed and eaten by the Osmat people, a a cannibal group known to behead their victims and consume their flesh. Captured inside the Amityville horror house in 1976, this creepy vintage photo remains one of the most chilling paranormal images of all time. After the DeFeo murders, the house's next owner, George Lutz, claimed that the home was haunted and called in famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren to help. One night, the automatic camera they'd set up on the second floor caught what appeared to be a ghostly boy staring back. Some believe it is the ghost of young John DeFeo, who was murdered in the house by his brother years earlier. Few creepy old photos are more disturbing than those captured inside the mental institutions of decades and centuries past. Seen here is one of countless patients being restrained in a French mental institution in 1900. It's unclear what condition this unfortunate patient suffered from. At the time, people could get committed for anything from depression and shell shock to schizophrenia and learning disabilities. With the abuse of patients like this one happening behind closed doors, we'll surely never know the extent of the trauma that these people suffered inside the institutions of old. Both before and during World War II, Japan's Biological and Chemical Weapons Division, Unit 731, carried out some of the most grotesque human experiments in history. Determined to master germ warfare and test the limits of human suffering, Unit 731 conducted a wealth of torturous tests on captured Chinese civilians that range from purposeful frostbite and vivisection on conscious patients to weapons testing on live prisoners and rape. Seen here is Unit 731 personnel conducting a bacteriological trial on a test subject in November 1940.